All right, welcome back to the Spinnin Backfist MMA Show, ladies and gentlemen. It is Robbie Fox and Big Ev here with Joaquin Buckley ahead of his UFC main event against Kamaru Usman. We're looking forward to the fight. We just saw the face-off yesterday, and a lot of the videos, there was a lot of wind. You couldn't really hear what you guys were saying. What were you saying during that face-off?
Be honest with you, man, I was just excited just to see my man. And I was just saying, was he ready for this fight? Because, funny enough, Henry Cejudo reached out to me and said he wanted me on his podcast, right? But, they never reached back out. So I was hoping that once I meet, Kamaru Usman face to face, we have a little conversation. So, but he didn't give me much of anything. So it wasn't really much that was said. I was just saying, was you ready for this fight? And he just gave me a smirk, and that's all.
Do you think there's anything behind that? Cejudo, like, inviting you on the podcast and then ghosting you or whatever? Was he trying to play mind games in some weird way?
I don't know how you play mind games. He invited me on. I accepted, and they never reached back out. So, you got to have a conversation with either Henry Cejudo or Usman himself.
Yeah, weird.
He's obviously back-to-back main event spot for you.
Yeah.
Bunch of wins in a row. Something I want to ask you about. You had some of these like famous like Twitter, Instagram dust-ups like Ian Gary and some of these other guys. How does it feel now where they were kind of mocking you at the time, like you were calling up like into the rankings? How does it feel to now be like above them at them main eventing now?
Well, now they got Ian Gary. They got Ian Gary above me now. And
just one though.
Just one. Just right.
Okay, but I'm saying if you win this one, now that you're above him. You're in a spot where everyone's gonna be calling.
Right. Kevin Holland, all these different names, man. I'm above them right now. So I really feel like in my heart, it's just, my work speaks for itself right now. Everything that I've been doing within the welterweight division in this time frame hasn't really been seen. So, a lot of people look at this like, oh man, Buckley's has been, kind of pushed, fast, but I've been putting in the work, right? I've been putting in the activity. And as active as Kevin Holland might be, I feel like, he hasn't fought the type of names that I fought, right, to get to this type of position. And for me to be on this, rise to almost being, in the top 5, right, and after beating Kamaru Usman, I really truly believe I'll be the number 1 after that. So I really feel like, all my competitors and all the people that I've either fought or had, some ruffle with, over social media, they got to just respect the work that I've been putting in.
And everyone has seen that since you've moved to the welterweight division. It's been absolutely lights out performances. I also want to highlight the work you've done outside of the cage, where you're promoting fights in a very unique way and a cool way. Like when this fight got announced, you put that video out with the newspaper clippings and everything, like the fights on the Hitman thing.
Yeah,
and everything.
the Hitman thing. Yeah. 100%.
When did you kickstart that side of promoting fights?
I feel like, I've always had those ideas. I just didn't have always the, placement or the money to, actually do these like little production shots. But this is actually going to be more of a regular thing once I start having these major fights, like, the one I had with Kamaru Usman and the promotion that we put on for that. And then the next fight, which will more likely be for the title or with another big name, you guys going to see more, production, almost trailers, almost, right? Because I really feel like every fight is like a movie, so that's how we're gonna make it, right? So every fight that we do, we're gonna promote it big. But my creativity, me writing down notes, me having all these different ideas, I try to create it just through the phone, right? Whether that's funny reels or funny skits, I try to do my best in order to get people's attention and make them want to pretty much pay attention to the fight. So I think it just comes from my creative mind and the things that I see all the time on TV.
The video in the leggings, that got people's attention. That was crazy. That
Yeah,
was a wild video.
yeah. So with everybody's attention being on females, man, and always scrolling through their phones, man, I got to keep you in check. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, what you doing, bro? Don't pay attention to them buns. Nigga, go for a run. You got to do it, right? And regardless, though, those are the type of things that I feel like, a lot of guys, they just, they don't have the creativity, man, or the mindset, man, to be fun and have a great time with this because, fighting is an uncomfortable thing, but you got to have fun with it, right? And you got to put yourself in a position where you cannot just rely on the promotion, even though this is the greatest promotion of all time, right? The UFC, they got so many fighters they got to promote. You got to promote yourself, right? So when you don't have a fight coming up, this is a perfect time, man, where you could just sit back, right? Social media is, the game right now, and just really kind of get your content out there. So it's been a blessing so far where all my content has really helped push me in order to get all these fights. So I'm gonna keep going.
Obviously, you brought up Kevin Holland. I know obviously he's behind in the rankings now. since I just thought of it because you brought him up. Is that one you really want back? Even though he's fallen, like, is that one you would take after this with a win, just because, like, just to kind of avenge that loss, get that one back, or are you just looking forward after this?
Why? Okay, why would I just take the fight just to take the fight?
That's what I'm asking.
I know. What would it do for me?
I just get your lick back. That's really it.
So the only way that we can do that, right, is Kevin got to work like I work, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not just going to bless him just to come up. My thing is let him work, and if he working and he gets back to that, boom, because that's going to be the biggest fight that we make. And my thing is, why not fight when everything is on the line? Let's put that belt on the line, right? You know, because it seems like Kevin is starting to get the momentum. Now, he already got the money, but now it feel like he's trying to get that respect back, right? So you seen that win that he got against Vicente Luque, man. Applause to him. I'm never no hater on nobody, right? But he still got work to do. And for me, I've always wanted to be the world's best. So I only want to fight the best. And with that being said, if Kevin Holland proves himself to be one of the best guys in the world, hell yeah, bro, let's run that back. I always want to get my lick back, but my thing is, it's not about ego, it's about getting these checks.
And I've seen your comments about Islam potentially moving up to 170, and you saying you welcome it, basically, that you have the skill set to take him down. Is that something, have you always watched him or other fighters, even though if they're in another weight class, do you watch them with the mindset, maybe one day they'll be in my weight class? Are you always watching with kind of a strategic brain, or is that just spurned on by him saying, I'm going to move up to 170?
No, that's just him saying he want to move up. Like, you know, Islam did his thing. He can continue to do great things at lightweight at 155. But if you feel like you about to move up to 170, and obviously now he putting the division on pause because, right, he's moving up. So everybody else that's been working and climbing and grinding to get to that position, we got to wait. Fuck that. You know, like I've been working my ass off for this past, 2 years now, right? To be in this position. I'm not going to allow somebody that comes from another division just to come up. Regardless if the UFC going to bless them or not, I'm definitely going to bark, right? And you definitely going to hear me in my opinion and what I got to say. You're not going to be known as one of the best welterweight fighters. You're not going to try to hold down that division. You're not going to try to defend that belt. You're going to run scared once you make that belt, because once that happens, you already know that this is the deepest division to be in, right? And you got a lot of killers, not just with myself, bro. You got Michael Morales, Shaka, Ian Gary, Sean Brady. Like, you think he can beat all of us? Like, bro, y'all must be tripping. This boy ain't Thanos. Come on now.
I love that. I would say also, obviously, you have, I think, in my opinion, the most viral knockout of all time. Definitely in the UFC, I would say for sure. Now, I would say besides the Kanye video, because I would say that's hard to beat, what would you say is the second coolest thing that happened to you from that? Either interaction or someone reaching out or something cool that happened to you from that knockout specifically?
I think the biggest thing was just being put on, right? The world was on notice once that kick had happened, and my name was really kind of submitted that night. I think that's the biggest thing, right? It was just unfortunate that the things that happened at 185, I wouldn't been able to use that momentum, but now being at 170, right, and resurging here, people are starting to see that potential that they saw back in 2020 now here in 2025.
Are you numb to watching it yet?
Yeah.
Or does it still feel good?
Oh yeah, no, it always feels good, putting somebody on a highlight reel. I tell you, I'm not tired of it. But for sure, I tell people all the time, I'm glad I didn't make that kick my story, right? It's just a part of my story, and I truly believe that, once I beat Kamaru Usman and I get myself closer to that world title, that's when, I can say, all right, that's my story right there, being a world champion.
I love it. We're looking forward to the fight this Saturday. Best of luck, best of skill in the fight, and thank you for talking to us.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all for having me.